My man, we're here for another expert interrogation today on this wonderful Tuesday. I'm back from a long hiatus. I've been gone from the States here for 2 weeks. I was in Canada for a week and I was in London for a week. And the week that I was in Canada, I got to stay. In fact, I think that should look familiar. I think that's about the same background that I shot at a couple weeks ago when we did a call with Din Liddy. So I've got my good friend Alex Ikonn on here today. How you doing, buddy?
Good man, how's everyone doing?
Good, good, good. This is going to be a really great call today, guys. I'm super excited to have Alex take time out of his busy schedule to be on here today. What we're going to talk about is at the event I was at called Mastermind Talks. Alex gave a little talk where he has a YouTube strategy with it's a 4-step process that he'll talk about. And so I thought I'd get him on here today to talk about that process. When a lot of you probably, unless you're sent over here from Alex's page somewhere, if he promoted it, you probably don't know who Alex is. And you probably would have a hard time knowing who he is anyways, because the company that he's behind is called Luxy Hair. And Luxy Hair now, which I remember checking a few months ago, Alex, and it was only like 596,000 subscribers. And now it's at like 996,000 subscribers when I checked today. And so it's
Almost a
just
million.
growing, yeah, almost at 1 million, guys. So they have a channel called Luxy Hair. It's his wife that runs that channel. And so wildly successful. A lot of this happened in the last 3 years,
It's
two and a
three
half
years.
years?
3 years. So
3
I
years.
guess, yeah, go
So
ahead.
one more second, Alex, and we're going to get to all that, my man. So everybody that's new here today, welcome. Everybody in guest mode, what we'll do is I'm going to ask Alex some questions. We'll basically have him go through that strategy that I mentioned. And then the second half of the show, we're going to take your questions. So if you're in guest mode and you want to interact in the chat or you want to submit your question, use the button right below Alex that says submit a question. I'll ask you to log in. Just log in via Facebook or Twitter, and you'll be ready to rock and roll. So let's get at it, man. Let's give a little bit of your background for everybody in regards to just where you were right before you started this YouTube channel. Because all of our people obviously are video professionals, filmmakers, and things like that, and they all struggle to take that plunge to do something. It's risky, whatever it is. We have family, we have all these different things that hold us back. And I know you guys started with pretty much nothing up front, and 3 years later, you've got a YouTube channel with almost 1 million subscribers, and you've done very well, for yourself. So just talk about how you got that started and what was that spark.
Definitely. Yeah, thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me. And I just want to say hi to everyone who's here. And I just want to start off from my, I guess, humble beginnings. About 3 years ago, me and my wife were both unemployed and really kind of figure out wanting to be entrepreneurs. But the story really begins even before that. So I'll say, I guess to focus more on the YouTube and why YouTube is so important, why it can be make such a big difference in your business, and the amount of really amazingness that's happening on YouTube and just starting out, and how you can really leverage the platform to grow your business to whatever it is, whether you're in video making or product or whatever it is, and really take it to the next level. So I've told when YouTube came out, I right away saw the potential of it as being as a business platform. So what I'm going to talk about today, really, if you want to make money off advertising, that's great. But I'm just going to tell you, YouTube's not really there to make money off advertising. YouTube is a great platform to really market your services, so wherever they may be. And that's what I'm going to talk about. And really, strategy, what works on YouTube and why it's such an amazing platform. So about 5 years ago, I told my wife, who back then was just my girlfriend, to get a YouTube channel. And she said, no, I don't want to do a YouTube channel. It's too personal. I don't want to put myself out there. It's just stupid, crazy comic videos. There's not that much going on there. And I said, trust me, YouTube's going to blow up. This thing's incredible. So she just started a blog. Like many of you probably heard, if you want to market yourself, get a blog. And it's a great idea, but YouTube can really boost your marketing to a whole great new level, because As you know, YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world, and Google owns it. So Google's number one, YouTube's number two. If you get YouTube covered, you're going to be already showing up on YouTube and Google, I mean. So with us, we kind of had an entrepreneurial journey, like many of us, just trying to find out what to do. But I always knew YouTube was going to be a great tool to help us build whatever we're going to build. Because as entrepreneurs, I think the thing that we struggle with the most is, what's going to be my idea? How am I going to make money? I want to be an entrepreneur, but how can I do it? Right? Isn't like that one of the, I guess, the biggest, really things that sets us back the most? Like, I want to do this business thing, but what's my product? What am I going to do? What am I going to sell? And that's where we were at really 4 or 5 years ago. And time goes by, and me and my wife, Mimi, we're about to get married, and she asked me, and she comes to the room frustrated. And all good business ideas start from when somebody is having, when something's not working out. So if you're right now struggling with something, one tip I can give you right off the bat, if you're looking for an idea to start a business, look what's pissing you off. And with that is going to come a great idea to a problem you can solve. Because the biggest thing also I learned about business is that the way you make money is bringing value into the world. So how can you solve other people's problems and bring value into their lives? So that's been like a really big lesson over the years, really, to me. But going back again, my wife Mimi was frustrated with hair extensions. So she wanted hair extensions for the wedding, something as a guy I knew nothing about. So I was like, what are hair extensions? Like, why do you need this? And what's going on? And kind of, that was a problem. And right away, when that happened, the spark went off. I knew exactly kind of how to implement this idea, how to make it grow. Because to start off our business, we really didn't have a lot of money. Mimi and I really just pulled off our last, it's a true entrepreneur story, kind of like our last line of credit, our last credit card money, and we had just enough money for product, but we really didn't have money to how we're going to market it. But I knew how to solve that problem is through making YouTube videos and through creating valuable content. So fast forward 3 years, we're now probably the biggest e-commerce retailer for clip and hair extensions in the world. We have the most website traffic. We're top 20 YouTube channels for beauty channels. We have I think, close to over 150 million views. As Michael said, 1 million subscribers. So, and like I said, the reason I say 3 years, and that's a really important factor, is that we're not a viral hit. We're not kind of a business that just got lucky. There was really a methodology and effort put into what we did. And that's why, as I take you through the 4 steps that have been really key to our success, and I just want you to know that it's not an overnight thing. It's a hustle, and it takes work and dedication to get to a certain level. And to last but not least, we are a very profitable business. And the reason I point that out to you guys is just to make you realize, once again, the amount of potential there is on YouTube for businesses of any kind just to start out. It's just an incredible opportunity. Just one example that I'm gonna first, before I go into my thing, just leave you up with is starting a YouTube channel now. It's kind of like starting a blog in 1999. I mean, like 1999. Did you know about what a blog was in 1999, or people that are blogging? And if somebody started blogging, were you like, what's a blog? What are you doing it for? Like, where you have like 5 readers, or who's reading your stuff? It was all new. And even though YouTube is developed, it's still a new platform, and I'm going to go into it. So I guess to pause this rant for a bit, Michael, what do you think so far, and and should I begin the formula?
I actually have a couple things before probably the last thing that we hit on. I want to touch on a few things for everybody. One is so many of us as entrepreneurs, as business owners, in the video production space especially, there's a lot thrown at us when it comes to social media and marketing ourselves. There's LinkedIn, there's Twitter, there's Facebook, there's YouTube. And Lord knows there's a million offline ways that you can network and do this and do that. And Joe Kelly's Saying Vine just came out. There's something new every single day. But what I want to point out to everybody is that your success, you did what so many of us fail at, which I want you to talk about. I know you've done some videos, and Alex, if you want to link that up so I can share it, your YouTube channel specifically has a lot of inspirational videos, but it's the word focus. You focused on one thing, and that was YouTube. You didn't go and say, well, I'm going to spend 80% over here today on YouTube, but then I'm going to spend 20% on Facebook, and then I'm going to spend some time on Twitter, I'm going to spend some time over here. You spent your time on YouTube. Now, some might say, well, gosh, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. But the reality is, what I've learned so much in my career and what you guys have seen is where focus goes. I kind of joke, where focus goes, a whole lot of things flow. That can be money, that can be this, that can be that. But when we divert our attention to so many different things, it's like nothing ever gets 100% of the efforts or the results or anything. So just talk about what made you fully, though, decide that, hey, we're going to put all our effort into YouTube. And a byproduct of that was that, yeah, we have a Facebook page and yeah, we have a Twitter, but we don't really spend any time on it. You know, we are growing that just organically from the fact that we link it up from YouTube. But what made you go, well, we're not going to put a bunch of effort on Facebook, we're not going to put a bunch of effort on Twitter? What made you just focus on YouTube?
Well, I'll say one of the books that really inspired our business is, and I'm sure you talked about it in previous shows you had, is The 4 Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And we had the pleasure of hanging out with Tim also at the Mastermind Talks event. He was there. I was kind of like starstruck because, he's kind of really made it all happen for me because I really did love the 4 Hour Workweek. And in that to segue, what I learned, the biggest takeaway I learned from the 4 Hour Workweek was the 80-20 principle. Meaning, how do you get 80% of the results with only 20% of your effort? And this is very important because a lot of us, as entrepreneurs, as people, we want to make things perfect. We want to get 100% because that's what we, in school, we're taught to be, is to get that 100%. But in order to succeed, if you're focusing on 100%, you're going to fail. You got to focus on, what can you get, how can you get to 80 with the least amount of effort? And that really summarizes kind of like my school, because I really didn't like school, but I always tried to get to 80 with the least amount of effort possible. I guess many of us can also kind of go back and maybe also those words kind of connect with you as well, because that's how I really looked at school. How can I do the least possible to get by and do good, but I'm not striving for 100%. And so with YouTube, I realized we can get the most leverage out of that tool, meaning we can get the most people looking at our product through YouTube because it has such a great reach, a potential, especially for our customers. So our customers are women between the ages, really 16 to 35. I'll say our target market. For you, may be different. Of course, the core audience on YouTube is still 13 to 17-year-olds, and that's fine. But there's these other segments that are growing so quick. But overall, just to say, we picked YouTube because, once again, it was the easiest point of entry. Because even right now, I was talking to somebody from Mastermind Talks last week because he was just like, Alex, can we talk? And I'm like, sure. And he asked, why should I have a YouTube channel? I said, he has a travel blog, a pretty popular travel blog. I said, how many travel bloggers do you know? And he said, thousands. Like we have a conference in Toronto like last week, thousands of them. I'm like, how many travel YouTubers do you know? And he can really count them on his fingers because there aren't that many. And that's the same thing for any other things, is that just the competition is not as much as it is in the blogging space. It is going to increase, but I'm sure right now, if you're in a sort of field, there are not too many people on YouTube in your space. So that's why we focused on it.
Well, let's talk about this one thing before we get into the 4 steps. So a lot of the guys on the call, and guys, you're going to be able to ask your questions here in the next, 15, 20 minutes after he does the 4-step process that we're going to talk about. But how many of you guys would, say that you're obviously the video professional trying to make commercials or do weddings for clients and different things like that? So what is that regular, well, this is kind of getting into one of the steps, but what is that content that you would suggest the video professional that's trying to, they're not selling a digital product or they're not selling a service online, they're selling a service, the physical space. They're going out to create a commercial for somebody. They're going out to do a wedding. Let's take the wedding space for a second. If I'm a wedding videographer, what could be something that I could do that, but beyond the work I'm already creating, what would be something on YouTube that might help me benefit to create consistent content on YouTube?
Exactly. So I guess it is a little different. So even you guys I'm speaking to, I'm really my expertise is really in the product based, meaning I have a physical product that we sell, and we create videos to really kind of push that product, but we do it in such a soft way because our intention is really not to sell a product. Our intention is how can we provide the most value to people in the world. So with that I think I should just get into the 4 steps because that will help me explain everything and clear everything out. So I have a formula. I'm going to type it out for you. It's called QVCA. And these 4 letters, you can really apply to anything. You can apply it to life. You can apply it to business. You can apply it to your YouTube strategy as we did, and that's how we really came up with it. So to get into it, so Q, let me type it out. So Q is for quality, meaning whatever content you're going to put on YouTube, it has to be quality content. Quality content in many ways, and I'll talk about just part of it. So the content has to be quality, meaning the quality of the actual video has to be good. And all of you guys in video professionals, I'm sure you know what Michael is all about is about creating amazing quality content for your customers or whatever that is. And that's what you really want to put out. Same thing on YouTube. You want to put out quality content. For us, we're in a very unique space. So for example, if you're going to go the route or where you're just going to put out your work on YouTube, where I would strongly still suggest, because our strategy is more about creating content. So for example, if Michael, right, he has expertise in making video, and he starts making a YouTube channel teaching people on how to make video, let's say, videos and better quality videos, he'll pick up kind of a certain audience. But I'm just trying to think of an example because mine is so different. My business is so different. But overall,
well,
one point,
Alex,
I guess I'll
quick,
reflect on myself.
Chris Simmons, my partner in all this, like he did do some YouTube videos where he got in front of the camera and he was making educational videos for his corporate clients. So they were quality videos where he got in front of the camera, similar to Mimi, which is Alex's wife, Mimi, for their videos, and educated the corporate client. And that got him business. Now, I think if you take that mindset, because again, we want to try to apply this to people trying to get service-based work in regards to they're trying to get wedding work or they're trying to get commercial work or they're trying to get event videos, whatever it is. So I think your system here moving forward, they can make quality videos that can educate those potential customers. They can get in front of, if they are that wedding guy, instead of just having the YouTube channel that produces or that showcases their work, it could be supplemented with quality videos of them in front of the camera as the expert on how to hire a wedding videographer. And so in your case, I'm sorry, I'm hijacking it for a second, but I'm trying to take.
Go ahead, man. You're good.
I'm trying to take what you know and apply it to our space for people. And I think the quality aspect comes where you promote your videos, and then the videos that will be the non-hard sell, as you did, would be these videos that you're positioned as the expert on the subject of wedding videography. So no longer are you trying to push to hire you as the wedding videographer and why people should hire you, you're just positioning yourself as the expert. So then on top of that, they see your work, and people, once you're reaching people all over, like a lot of guys out there, they want to be able to travel. They want to be doing these expensive weddings. Well, this is going to position you to be able to do the more expensive weddings, because now I got to have XYZ company, because they're the elite company in this space. They create all these educational videos on how to, hire a wedding videographer. What are the best practices? What are these things? And they also produce amazing work. And so that could be applied to wedding work, commercial work like Chris did. He made the educational videos for corporate clients. So I think that that's a thing, guys, that you could take from the first aspect for the quality, and then it's an aspect of applying your other principles.
Yeah, just important, because the really thing I would really want to get out to all of you, one important aspect of quality also is when you're making videos, if it's just yourself or when it's just educational, whether it be you, your partner, or whoever that is, the quality also can't be too over the top. And this is going to sound like counterintuitive, but in the point to quality also, you have to get this in between. So meaning you don't want quality to be crap, and you don't want quality to be too good. I mean, like multiple angles, you got angle here, like three camera angles. You don't want that for YouTube, because other points I will cover really is YouTube is a very personal space. It's you have to look at YouTube. The reason people watch YouTube, they go out there to connect and to, like, when you watch YouTube, what kind of videos do you watch? You have to really observe yourself. But one of the main things with YouTube is really a connection, and that's what really people want. So if you are going to be making videos on your expertise, you have to be willing to connect with people and really don't go over the top of quality, because actually when you start throwing multiple angles, that's not how me and Michael, for example, interact in real life. You don't sit next to a person and all of a sudden a third angle shows up on camera, right? Thank you. So what I'm saying is it's really important to also not do over the top quality when you're doing these personal kind of videos. When you're just putting on your work and your content, yeah, do it the best way you have and throw it on there. So that's the quality. To the next point being also, to just add on, one of them is quality. The next point is value. So if you are creating content that is educational, you just have to put in your mind is, how can I build, and I know Michael, he talks about this all the time, but on YouTube it's especially important. You always have to think, in this video, how am I delivering value? How can I deliver the most value to people possible? So even if you're a video expert and you're giving away your best tips, you're like, what are they going to hire me for? I just gave them everything away. Well, the point being, most people still want maybe to hire you, especially to do that work for them. Even though you just told them everything, your touch is going to be that magical touch, and people will be like, no, I want him to do it because he's going to be so much better at it, even though he told me how he does it. So in that point, so what we always do is we create, before when we start a business, a lot of people will say, the old traditional approach would be, buy this product, and after you buy this product, you get this amazing content of library of hair tutorials and videos that you will get after you buy that product. Right? That's what a lot of even marketers told us to do, but we did the opposite. We gave this incredible content of how to treat your own hair without even our product before you even purchase. And by giving so much value to people, many people buy just because they're like, wow, they're so awesome. They provided me so much value. I'll spread their word. So even if they're not directly interested in our product, and for example, their friend is getting married and needs hair extensions, she'll say, oh, I know these girls on YouTube, they do hair tutorials and they also sell hair extensions. Check them out. And that's how a lot of our businesses really kind of came about. So same with you. You may provide your expertise. It may not, but by providing value to people, other people will refer people to you because they'll say, oh, Michael is so awesome. He gave me so much value. I'm going to pass it on to him. So that's another point, value. Do you want to add anything, Michael, or?
No, I think that that's really important. I mean, everybody out there, we all is as video professionals, we always fear that we're giving away too much. Everybody's always fear is that I've told the client too much. In a sales meeting, how much information do I give them before they're going to go away and go to the next client and take that same information and, use it and get a cheaper video? How much do I give away? And Joey Coleman, who was at the event, who won Mastermind Talks, who's going to be on a future call, I got the privilege of being in the room while you were sitting outside. Actually, he was finishing that sales meeting. And he was on the phone, and I ended up asking him when he got done, and he said, the very first call I do, the very first consulting call I do for an hour, sometimes a little bit more, and I give them the best of the best that I have to offer. It's like a drug. It's like once they have it, they've got to have more of it. And he goes, people, I had to ask the normal question for everybody out here. Well, doesn't that make them not come back? He goes, well, he reads me an email, and he goes, well, look at this email. This guy's, I followed up with him, and he said, well, we're still implementing everything you told us on the first phone call. That was free. He wasn't even hired yet. He goes, this is totally normal. And he said, what happens is I just stay in touch, but they'll get so much results from my free information that they'll come back and they need more. They want more results, but now they got to pay for that. And so I think that sometimes we forget and we almost under-deliver. Like something I've always done in my business to get me to where I am is over-delivering on that value aspect. Always not going, oh, well, somebody didn't pay me for that camera, or somebody didn't pay me for that extra 20 minutes or this or that. And so we're always, nickel and diming people, but we wonder why people won't pay for things or won't recommend us. It's because they felt like they didn't get that much from us. And so, yeah, I think that value is a huge thing for everybody out there. So, I mean, I think that that's great. I don't have anything to add besides I'm just trying on this particular call. Guys, if you haven't noticed, I want everybody that's on new or coming halfway that sees Alex talking about hair extensions, like, what does this have to do with video professional space? We're trying something a little new today, getting somebody who's not a video professional or not in this space, but very, very knowledgeable. And so, because there's a lot of principles, guys, that can be applied into every business. So all I'm doing today is taking a little bit of what's being said and kind of translating it a little bit into our space and how people could apply what you're saying. So that's it. So keep on rocking and rolling, buddy.
Definitely. So that brings on value, right? And just seeing how you can add value to the space, to people, wherever it is. We all have some sort of value to provide. So the next point really is, I'm going to type it out, hopefully I spell it properly, consistency. And this is something that Michael really just touched upon earlier when we started the video. As we get to these, through the last two steps of the 4-step process, really, when you're creating content, and you can really apply this to anything, but especially when you're creating content on YouTube, you have to be consistent. And this is with everything, blogging, YouTubing, Twittering, Facebooking, whatever you want to do, approaching clients. Once you start, you have to commit to being consistent. And with consistency, I mean, you're going to commit to making videos for the next year, at least 1 year. That's 2 weeks. Let's say 1 video a week, or putting out 1 video a week. And this is hardcore, right? You're amazing. This is like a huge time commitment. That's why at the beginning, like Michael said, you have to look, is this going to be the right platform for you to leverage on, right? So it may not be. For us, it is. It's not perfect for everyone. But if you do choose YouTube as a platform, you have to commit to being consistent and create content every week. Why is this important? Imagine you created an incredible video and it gets 50 million views, and all these people are like, oh, this guy, Michael Gevin's incredible. And they go on your channel, and all of a sudden they see the last video you made was of your cat 2 years ago, and it didn't go viral or anything. It just wasn't popular. So right away they'll see, oh, okay, there's no reason to subscribe because this is just a random video, and you just lost so much potential that you could have had there. So with consistency, I'm also talking about consistent content. So if you are going to start creating some sort of content, it has to be a consistent type of content. So you can't just be putting videos of your cat and then putting videos of your professional weddings. It's not going to work. You have to choose where your niche and your focus is going to be and create a channel for that. So if you have a certain expertise, if it's filming weddings, let that be your niche. And you talk about all about weddings, how to get the groom set up, how to shoot the dress, or whatever that is. But it has to be consistent, focused content. And that has to come out consistently every week. And you want to remind your subscribers also that you're going to, at the end of the video, you can say, or in annotations, hey guys, video every week, come by and see the video every week. So you create that kind of trigger into people, kind of like cable television, to be excited. Oh, it's Monday, Alex's video is coming out, I'm going to go watch it. You want just that psychological trigger to go off in people's heads. So that's consistency. Anything you want to cover?
No, I mean, again, that applies to everybody. And I think the thing I'd love you to talk about is, I know, and I just had a conversation with Chris before this, like so many of us with a lot of things sometimes are doing things that we may not be seeing results with. And so that level of consistency is difficult to sustain because we're like, well, I've made a video every week, like Alex told me, or we've had James Wedmore on here, you know, and I'm not seeing the results. What's going to make me keep making this video every week? Or a lot of things. Marketing in general for your video production companies out there, guys, we all struggle with that idea of consistently doing anything. We essentially want to do something for a few weeks and stop. We want to start up for 6 months and then stop. It's like, but you guys, I mean, as a whole, haven't skipped a beat in 3 years. I mean, unless I'm wrong there, overall, you pretty much have delivered at least a video every week, one, for 3 years. And that, to a lot of people, that's insane because they think, wow, well, or maybe I'll create 50 videos and load them all up in a few weeks' time. And it's like, well, that's not beneficial. Maybe you can talk, I don't know if that's part of the process here, but the batch processing, I don't know if I know like Marie Forleo, who you know, she'll make, you know, and I told you in December, she made enough videos. She releases one video a week. She made all her videos at the beginning of December that was one a week from January through May. And so she had all those weeks from January through May filled up from a batch, like I'm going to shoot and do the editing and everything in January or in December. So just talk about that commitment to something. Do you feel like that's why a lot of people fail in general, is because they don't get that, like Mike Gorga's saying, the instant gratification, and they can't stay consistent?
I would say, like, one of the speakers in Mastermind Talks was Sully Breaks. You guys can look him up. I'll type his name. And he has this video. He's gonna put it up shortly. But he, in his spoken word, he says, "Why give up when you're?" He says, "Have you seen the guy on Facebook that's mining? Why give up when you're so close to the diamond?" So you guys remember that meme on Facebook of the guy that's mining? He just gives up like literally right before the diamond. And that's what many of us do, and especially with marketing or video creation. Like Michael said, we expect results so like fast, or even we do it for 6 months, then we give up. But our breakout could have been in that 6 month, 1 week. So also with just to touch upon really batching videos. There's nothing wrong with batching videos and doing it, but I really think you can only start batching videos once you already have a really good audience and you know what they're about. When you're starting out, you don't want to just invest and make 50 videos and then put them all out. I'm saying not put them all at once. I would never do that. I'll say you can make 50 videos and you put them out throughout the year for those 50 weeks in a year, right? And you start putting out. But you're going to miss out on the key learning that you're going to get from your feedback of your audience, whatever it is. So even if there's 3 people watching and one person commenting, those are amazing comments because they're going to tell you like your lighting sucks, your mic sucks, your angle sucks, you suck, or whatever that is. But you're going to get amazing content and amazing feedback from your audience that you can learn from and improve. So even if you watch Marie Forleo's first videos, they're not the greatest. but she learned, and as she went by, and now she's at a point where she's like, all right, already know what my audience needs. I'm just gonna put it out there, and I know the formula. Same with me. I can do the same thing on my channel or whatever, but it's always great to kind of at the beginning learn from your audience so much, because you can learn so much, and that can be by itself a valuable lesson. But when you create videos or do anything.
Well, just a point for everybody too, somebody even asked what's batching. Batching can be applied to anything. Batching is doing a lot of things in a condensed period of time. And then really the smart way is when you batch things or when you do a lot at the same time, you release them not in a bulk, but over time. Like batching even for videos with rendering. A lot of guys will know what rendering means, but essentially I have a guy going through some stuff right now and he's making segments in one timeline and then batch rendering those separate takes in the one timeline. So instead of opening up like 50 timelines, they're just highlighted sections that those highlights are videos in and of themselves. So you can walk away for however long it's going to take and let those individually render out. So batching can be applied to a lot of things in life, guys, and it's very important. You just have to do it. You just have to do it right, because sometimes what happens is we batch doing all that, then we get it all released over time, but then we don't do it again. It's the same thing with the consistency. So it's like you've got to find that balance that works for you, and what makes the most sense so that you can consistently and sustain what you need to do in your efforts of marketing and creation and all those types of things. So.
Yeah, but once again, just to close off that point, like you said, consistency is really one of the most important key factors of being successful on YouTube. You have to be consistent. Now let's go to the next point. And the next point, I'll say this is for YouTube. And if you're making personal videos where you're going to be on camera or someone's going to be on camera, if it's not just your portfolio, your content, let's just say, the most important part is this: authenticity. So the reason most people go to YouTube, like I said, I call YouTube the friend replacement. And what I mean is, many of you guys that are on here right now, it's amazing. Through the most powerful thing about video, and especially YouTube, and just videos as a medium, it's a very engaging, emotional medium. Meaning, as you're here, you can see I'm here, I'm real, I'm engaging with you guys, and like I'm being authentic. I'm not going to be all pro and giving you a bunch of bullshit. This is just the person I am. You can see like, oh, that's Alex, and I already kind of know him as a person. Or let's just compare that. I sent you an email right now. If we did this, if me and Michael right now did this in that chat, could you feel all these emotions that we just kind of went through? Not really. So to really add on that point of authenticity, you want to really try to be as authentic as possible with the camera and your audience that you're creating content for. Why? Because like once I said, the most amazing thing about YouTube is, once again, people go there for personalities. So you can be having amazing quality, amazing value that you're giving to them, but if you're not being authentic self, then people won't be able to connect with you as a person. Because at the end of the day, the most important factor for people is you being human and you being able to connect with others. So incredibly important point, even when you make sales to clients or doing everything, being authentic, meaning don't try to be perfect. Don't try to edit out all of your mistakes. Sometimes make mistakes. Put in bloopers. Bloopers are amazing. And I guess everything they taught you in school about how to be right, that kind of just goes out the door. It's really try to be as interactive, as personal as you can be, as you are in real life. Because I know sometimes it can be hard connecting with a camera when you're talking to it. But that can be one of the important factors. So that's really kind of it for the 4-step, I would say, formula to creating YouTube videos. That this is like a foundation. Now with questions and everything, we can get into the more technicalities and everything else, but this is really like the foundation. You build your content on YouTube.
Well, and Alex, I think the big thing about authenticity is, that again, applying that to our space and just in general for anybody, like you will explode. I remember even Marie saying that. Marie's like, in the beginning, I had to wear suits, I had to dress a certain way, act a certain way, talk a certain way. I thought I couldn't be, I couldn't curse, I couldn't dance, I couldn't do these things because that's not what's expected. And I've seen some things in our private Facebook group where actually one of our guys, I'll call people out, but I like to say things. I like to be real about things because there's no reason people don't, like you trained me on that too. Like the thing is, you got to be honest and real with somebody. It's difficult, and believe me, I get that. But the thing is, you've got to be you. And so many of us think, well, if I'm selling, like one of our guys did a really great video that said about who he was, his company, and everything else. And one of the other members said, well, you need to dress a little bit different. Like you need to be a little bit more professional because of the people you're talking to. And of course, the whole thing goes back and forth. And different people say things, no. You're perfect. Like you're you. And you don't want to take that away from your brand. If you're building a brand about being a little bit more casual and everything else, and what I saw in even like the mastermind talks, it's like, that shit all goes out the window once people understand what you represent or what you the quality that you represent. And so I think people can have a bullshit meter on, essentially, let's be real here, that when you're not real, they can sense it because you're being fake, you're trying to say certain things, you're trying to act a certain way. And I think everybody should be proud of really who you are. I mean, honestly, James Altucher is the epitome, who is at Mastermind Talks, who I think I'll be able to get him on here too, of honestly, if I'm being frank, if we're judging the world by these supposed standards, he's not a person that should be succeeding. Like, he's not your to a T, like super sexy, this and that type of person that you would equate with success, right? But he doesn't care. He embraces that he's a quirky, fun, goofy character, and he's wildly successful. And so for everybody out there, if they're timid, if they're shy, if they're outspoken, if they dress a little bit more on the edge, if they don't dress on the edge, like embrace that for your company. I realize, like even Jason said, do you remember him saying at the event, he goes, I go in to some of these schwanky things where they've got suits and ties and all this stuff on, and I still dress in my pretty much casual, like hoodie, t-shirt, and jeans, and my, 5 shoes and whatever. And like, that's who he is, but he's still wildly successful. So talk about that for a second for everybody, just in the sense of like, how.
Are we still on camera? Did we lose Michael?
Alex, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
So I just said you really.
The camera couldn't take your.
I know, I blow through the screen. So no, I was just saying that you're kind of an expert on the fact of being you. If you could elaborate for just one more second for everybody on the sense of being that true self and not trying to be like, well, I know that I do commercial videos, so I really should be wearing, a suit and tie, or I should act this way, or I should talk this way. Like, talk about that for everybody on just how important it is to truly embrace how you dress, how you talk, how you act, and who you are. If you're not an outgoing person and you're an introverted, kind of shy, timid person, that's okay. Like, embrace, like, talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say one of the most important points I want to bring out to everyone watching here, and once again, this can be really useful to you in your sales, because at the end of the day, we want to connect with people, with humans. We don't want to connect with robots and with whatever. So to touch on that point, one of the greatest and my favorite authors really is Robert Greene. And in this book, there's many great books he has, but one of them is called 50th Law. I highly recommend it. In that book, he talks about how each one of us are unique individuals, meaning your strand of DNA will never be replicated again. In this universe, in this world, in this planet, whatever existence, you are unique in the amount of vastness there is. And this is a very important point to realize, because if you don't embrace that uniqueness in you, you're just cookie cutter mold of what society tries to be. But once you embrace your really kind of your authenticity and your uniqueness in you and be honest with it, like as James Altucher is, he'll say straight up like, yeah, I'm not the prettiest guy around. And everyone laughs because, yeah, he's not true, but he knows it and he embraces it and he's totally cool with it. And he gets confident with it. Because although he's not a certain commercial mold, he is embracing himself. And by doing that, he's way more likable. People are off guard. He's incredible. And it's everyone. Jason, who's our friend who's leading the mastermind talks, was just, like you said, in a t-shirt and jeans, and he was asking also, should I wear something? I'm like, no, if you feel comfortable in this, then wear it. It's cool, because we are entering this new age where more and more the people who respect are really the people that embrace their authentic selves. And once again, it may not work everywhere, but especially in this new generation coming up, people love that. When they love to see you really bring that kind of rawness in you. And there's certain, like someone said, but what if I'm like this sad and depressed person? Well, to be honest, you have to look at, you still have to look at what's your best authentic self. You don't want to bring like, oh, it's not like this, man. Like no one cares about that. But you still have to bring your best authentic self that you want to be. And if one tip I can give you is, as AJ Jacobs, who also was at the conference, said, is, sometimes fake it until they make it. Who do you see yourself as, or becoming maybe? And maybe create that maybe persona, but be authentic with it, embrace it, and fully be in it. So that's kind of it. And I know authenticity is a very vague and very general topic to talk about, but I'll say once you can embrace that, it's just amazing, incredible things happen.
Well, and I think the thing is that it is, like you said, embracing it. It's that idea of being able to poke fun at yourself for things that might not be strong points, and just different things. And the other thing that I want to point out to everybody is, like, what I learned in hanging out, like all the people I've been connecting with, is that we are all, people, wide spectrum of people basically, is that we're all human beings. We're all human beings. We all struggle. We all fear. We all love. We all hate. We all do these things. And when someone can connect with somebody because they feel like okay, this person isn't above me now. That's what happened at that event even, is that everybody thought of themselves as equal. Because the thing that happens a lot of times, I equated all those people to the typical keynote speakers. But what happens is instead of being treated as an equal like they were at that event, all these people that normally are a keynote speaker like that, the reason they don't stick around is because people don't treat them as an equal. All these people run up and they start going, oh my gosh, take a picture and sign my autograph and do this and do that. They act like fan people, so that person loses that connection. They're appreciative of that, but if you just treated them like a person, like, it doesn't matter that they're worth millions of dollars or anything else or what they've accomplished. You think you're inferior to them, but you're really not. If you just talk to them and make conversation and find a connection point. That's a big thing I try to do, Alex, that you probably would agree on. What is that connection point? Is there something you saw on Facebook? Is it something they said? Is it something somewhere that you do have the similarity? It doesn't have to be money all the time. It doesn't have to be all those things. We have a whole conversation. We can talk about money. I'd love to get into some other time, but like that idea of finding that one point that you connect with. Maybe you went to the same school. Maybe you both were had a paper out when you started out, and so that stuff, it's like people want to connect. with people. And I love that you know, you're such a genuine person, and it comes out like your videos on YouTube that are on here, and everything else. It's just, and that's what Mimi is. I mean, hanging out with Mimi and hanging out with you guys and seeing that what you see on camera is what you get in person. And a lot of people don't do that, but that's also, I feel, why you're wildly successful. I mean, because the people who really are true to themselves, because it's hard to put up fronts all the time and sustain that, because you're just being like, it's funny, you guys are so natural and just doing what comes naturally and easily to you that it's easy to sustain it. It's easy to be consistent because you're not doing something that isn't you. And I think that's where we all fail sometimes, is because, do you remember, maybe you could talk for 1 second, Alex, and then we're going to take your question, guys, and then we're going to wrap things up here. But talk 1 second that I think will be really great about unique ability. If you could talk on that topic, I don't know how well you can explain what was talked about, but that idea of a unique ability, and so many of us try to do all these things. One guy said, you can't create it, sell it, and handle the money. There's no single person that can effectively create it, sell it, and handle the money. Like, that one person doesn't exist. So talk about like that ability to focus on the thing that you're naturally gifted at. And one more thing, I'm sorry I'm on a tangent, I'm just pumped to have you on here today. They said you shouldn't focus, like a lot of people say, focus on your weakness, focus on your weakness, focus on your weakness, you know, get stronger at it. And one person at the event said, if you keep focusing on your weakness for too long, you're going to have a really strong weakness. Like, it doesn't become not a weakness anymore. You know, you're naturally gifted at something, and that's what you should focus on. So just talk about that unique ability aspect and focusing on that thing that's important.
Well, you told me a second. I think we need way more than a second to talk about unique ability. You can make a whole separate video about it. But just to summarize it, like you just said, Michael, and to everyone else, is, you know, really create what they say is like create like kind of circles, and make a circle here around it. So let's make, let's say, 4 circles, and then make one outside, one inside, another one inside, another one inside. And then the one on the right in the middle should be your unique ability. This one thing that you're really, not only that you're really good at, you really enjoy doing. So same thing with these even YouTube videos, to even summarize this point. If you're creating these YouTube videos and you're not enjoying it and you're not really good at it, you know, yeah, it may not be your thing. Although I still do believe you do get way better as you go through. Even my videos now, am I the best? No. But I just put them out and I enjoy doing it. But so to really, you know, summarize the unique ability, what's this one thing that you're really good at and you like doing? And focus on that. And then everything else, all those other layers, try as much as possible to outsource it to somebody else.
Perfect. Well, we're going to take...
So let's maybe get into questions.
Yep, we're going to take the questions from you guys. So I know we've ate up most of the call here today with talking about things. It was a little different. We'll take a few more questions in there, but I'm not going to take too much. I won't take up too much more of Alex's time. But just, you don't have to get into detail, but just for everybody, real quick, you guys, again, if you're loving the call, if you could share it on Facebook or Twitter, as soon as the call is over, there will be a replay. So if you did miss things, definitely check out the replay. There's all the replays of all the old calls too. But if you just really quickly could just summarize, or essentially, okay, perfect. He's got the video right there, the 4-step formula. So that'll take care of that, and rock and roll. Let's just take the questions here. So there's the man, the myth right here, Chris Simmons. He's asking, Alex, do you do anything in your videos to push your product, or are your sales just related to those who organically think this is great content? How can I support these guys? Or is there at least an obvious way for them to do business with you, and the videos build enough trust that they can make a quick decision to purchase the product and recommend it?
So this is another very important point that drives business people nuts, and that is we don't sell. And what I mean by that is, as people, we hate being sold to, but we love to buy, right? Famous saying, and it's so true on YouTube. So we really focus on, as that point I covered, is you know, provide as much value to people, the only way we plug our product is that we use it in our videos. Meaning, when I talk about consistency and creating consistent focused content, we create hair tutorials. In those hair tutorials, once in a while, we use the hair extensions, which is our product that we sell. Do we in the video say, oh, here are hair extensions, go buy your own, and here's a coupon for $10 off? We don't do that. All we do is, Mimi or Layla, her sister, would just say, I'm using this product today to add length to my hair in order to create this hairstyle. If you already have long hair, you don't need it, it's all good. But that's it, and they go on. And that's the only ever really kind of push for the product that is just mentioning that you're using it. Because in reality, if whatever you're doing, whatever you're using in the video is a product and it gets results, and people themselves get the connection, well, like, wow, she just used it, she looks beautiful, I want to be like that, I want to buy that product. So really, the only push is really getting your product to work, whatever that is. Same thing with, let's say, your videos. If you're creating videos of helping solving people's problems, say in video, you take them from a step where maybe they didn't know how to do this, and you take them to a step where you teach them how to do it. You already are selling your product or selling yourself, because you just showed them that you, as a person, say, can get them from not knowing to knowing. And you were that kind of glue that made it all happen. And in their eyes, they're like, I need Michael to solve my problem because he just did it and I seen him do it as possible, right? And that's the way we really sell our product, is by really just using the product and just mentioning it briefly and linking the website in the info box, but not being too aggressive on selling the product.
Tom Corson Knowles says, I have 204 YouTube videos. Is there an easy way to manage all?
I want to see these videos.
Link it up, Tom, if you're still on the call. Hopefully he's still on the call. If not, yeah, he is. Is there an easy way to manage all the comments, respond to them, besides loading all 204 video pages individually?
I think if you're responding to all 204 YouTube comments, good for you, but I think you're doing too much. What I mean by that is, remember the 80-20 principle I talked about, meaning how do you do 20% of the work to get 80% of results? Here we can quickly get into the technicalities of YouTube. So it's really still important to answer people's comments and be responsive, right? Very important. But if you have lots of comments, I wouldn't recommend responding to all comments. Choose to, answer maybe your last 5 videos or videos that you want to really grow, and answer, let's say, 3 or 2 comments. Many times older videos also won't get as many comments as the new ones. And what I'm saying by that is a good point to bring up. It's important to respond and communicate with your audience when they comment and do that. Especially in the beginning, if you have too many comments, respond to them. But the reason it's important is because YouTube algorithm has changed. So when you respond to people's comments, your videos that you're commenting on will show up on people's feeds and who are subscribed to you, which is really important. So that's a good point. But to really manage everything, like I said to Tom in the comments, you can also just go in your dashboard, in your YouTube dashboard, and go comments. A lot of comments will show up there. Tom said not all comments show up. He must get a lot of comments. But you can answer your comments through there, and it can help you out a lot for other people who are just starting out. But overall, just say, I wouldn't answer all comments. It's something I wouldn't do. I would just focus on the videos that you want to grow the most and answer on them, and your latest videos, and just answer not all comments, just whatever you find that are really resonating.
Well, and wouldn't you say that on some level it's not sustainable? And if you create an expectation that every question or every comment that somebody leaves, they're going to get a response to, as soon as they see that you're not. I mean, watch Tim Ferriss, watch all those people. I mean, I always say, I think I got it from Tony Robbins, success leaves clues. Look at other successful blogs. Look at other successful channels. see what they're doing. Are they commenting on every single person that comments on their video? And typically, what I've seen, they don't. I mean, they typically are picking a handful, and heck, some of them have flat out disabled comments entirely, and they don't even allow comments in.
Seth Godin.
Oh yeah, Seth Godin. So, so that's just something to think about. But I definitely, and I know that I've gotten email like reminders from time to time. So I don't know if that's another option where you could turn that on. Obviously, that could be difficult. But if you created your own little folder in Google or whatnot, that all your comments for YouTube videos went into one folder, you could periodically go in there too, look at them. I'm just throwing that out there. But anyways, all right, rock and roll.
Yeah, but comments you can't answer all. I just looked at one of our last videos. We have 1,200 comments. Like, good luck.
Yeah, jeez, man, that's incredible. That would drive you, and that's the thing we could get into long detail about the things that you've got to let go of. I mean, psychologically, you've got to not let that bother you, because some people could go, "Oh my gosh, I didn't answer these 1,200 questions. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad business guy. I'm a bad this. The people they won't watch my videos anymore, you know." But you let that go and realize that I can either let it stress me out or I can let it go. 80-20. 20 effort, 80 result. Rock and roll. I love that. I love that. I actually just bought a book that's the 80-20 principle. So
exactly.
All right. So Michael Jensen, do you use? Go ahead.
Yeah, I can. I guess to just answer it. If I can be funny sometimes, of course. If that's one of your unique abilities, you can be humorous and you have humor. That's amazing. People love to engage with humor. But I'm saying I try my best, but whatever comes up naturally to me. But if you can do it, do it.
All right. Let's see here. What about getting someone else? Let's see. I'll put it on here. When creating a channel, Mike saying, could you get someone else to be your on-camera spokesperson?
Well, like I said, I have, right? But I'm not the actual person behind the channel. So I do have a spokesperson in the way, but I know that spokesperson is my partner in the business. And I know they really care about the business and they really understand the product. So I really believe you can get a spokesperson if there's somebody who are really authentic and they love the product or whatever you're doing or part of the business, and they're just a good stand-up person, whether it be a woman or a male. They're just incredible. And another tip is don't use scripts on YouTube. Scripts fail because people can't engage with scripted content when you're just kind of speaking words. You just want to be, even if you do have say a spokesperson or a person, that's what I'm saying, they have to really know the product and be authentic with the company or brand. And just because if there's like Sally from customer service department who's really awesome and she'll create videos because she loves being on video, of course, use her. But if you're usually going to hire somebody who has knows nothing about your business, then you're wasting your money and your time. You're just not going to connect with your audience.
Because like you said too, it's going to be scripted. The guy's going to be reading off a teleprompter going, and it's like nobody's gonna connect with that because it's like, and plus, what are they probably gonna be doing, Alex? They're gonna be selling to the people. If some spokesperson is probably gonna be trying to sell to the people, and maybe it's slightly passive, but if it's not authentic, it's gonna be most likely more of a sales pitch, not connected. So, all right,
yeah,
got two.
Oh, did we lose Michael again? Michael, don't leave. All right, I'll take over. Yeah, so do you use any paid promotion to increase YouTube visibility? I guess, do you mean oh, you back?
Yeah.
All right. So to answer this, I'll answer the one really amazing thing about our business. In our 3 years' time, we have never spent money on marketing of any kind. And the only marketing we have used is just YouTube by itself without doing paid promotions to increase your YouTube visibility. However, times have changed. YouTube algorithm has changed. Everything has changed. So if you're starting out, you have some money that you can throw at to increase YouTube visibility. I think it can work. One of the biggest channels now on YouTube is Six Pack Shortcuts. They have done that, but once again, it's using. You still have to use that four-step core foundation formula, and that's what Six Pack Shortcuts did. They promoted their content, but they have created content as quality, that has as people value, that is consistent and is authentic. And they promoted that content. And then of course it made them skyrocket even more. If you have money, do it. But just remember to follow the other four-step formula I talked about before.
I've actually seen those ads for Six Pack Shortcuts. He does a good job. All right.
Yeah.
Do you manufacture the extensions?
I guess he might be a competitor.
No, he's definitely not.
All right. So we do, I guess.
Production guys.
All right. So with the product, and for anybody, I talked to Michael about this as well. We do manufacture our hair extensions. How we go directly to the manufacturer in China and have them manufactured specifically for us, right? So we don't own the factory, but we are the first in line after the manufacturer. However, with many people to point out, and I said this to Michael, I'm very transparent about it. Our future businesses, we will not be probably dealing with China because as a business, we're the last, I'll say, middleman between the consumer and the factory. And that's why our prices are low. The next wave of e-commerce, China's going to take over and they're going to market directly to the consumer from their factory. It's already happening. So just a heads up to any of you who want to deal with China. I'll say, going back to Made in USA or these kind of products, that's the way to go for the future. So just another tip for e-commerce. If you want to create an idea, I highly recommend it.
Should be our last one for today. Karik, I hope I'm saying that, Karik Chapman. How did you promote your first few videos? I'm a YouTuber myself with about 170,000 views, but it's hard to get views on original content. Parodies can get views from people searching for the original, but it's really hard getting views on the stuff that isn't based on something already popular.
All right. To answer how you. When we first started, I would say collaborations are huge, especially now. So meaning if you can somehow collaborate with other YouTubers or to get them to feature you or do some sort of collaborations would be massive for you to increase your viewership. That's what we kind of did in a way through our product and having other people use our product and talk about us as a channel. So that can be one. Another thing can be also hitting up forums and being very, once again, adding value to the conversation. And if your video actually responds and adds value to them in so many ways, put it out there. Also, commenting on other people's videos that are popular and that are similar to your content, and also posting video responses to videos that are also similar to your video. And if you see the person actually accepts video response videos, and start conversations, start talking to other YouTubers that are kind of also have the same channel like you do. Maybe you guys are in the same thing, because if you guys start commenting on each other's videos and talking, those other subscribers will see that this other YouTuber has been interacting with you and watching your videos and commenting on your videos, and that will help you bring up your views. But you have to just create this relationship with other YouTubers to create that, and it's going to start with you making that first step and doing it, and even maybe striking up even a private conversation and private messaging and just talking about how you can add value to them and how you can help them to grow their channel and be like, so that can be one of the ways that can really help you out. Hope that helps.
Well, and that's a big thing. Networking, relationship building. I mean, those things are so important and so vital to any business, regardless of what you're doing. And that's something people really need to. If there's anything that you should learn how to do if you are going to be in business for yourself, I mean, granted, again, we talk about outsourcing things you're not good at, unique abilities, and all these other things, but being able to network, being able to build relationships, which is valuable whether you're in business or not. Building relationships with people is a valuable tool in one's life. That's definitely the one thing that if there's anything you can get better at, it's just at least being able to communicate and build relationships with people, even if they're not related to your business, because you never know when those things can benefit you in the future or anything else. And even if it doesn't, I mean, that's what I want to end on today. We're actually having you, Jay, on tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but next Tuesday, who's your partner or whatnot with the 5-Minute Journey.
Second business. Yeah.
Second business. And so what I just want you to talk for 1 second, there it is. We're gonna give a few of those away. I have a few extras that I got. But just talk for 1 second to prerequisite what's going to happen next week, but that idea of gratitude and giving thanks and value. And just, I mean, obviously I don't want you to go into the whole thing. And again, just like the second, nothing's a second, it's a whole call. And honestly, Alex, I hate to ask you twice, but if you're available next week and want to jump on with you, Jay, you could. But I mean, the ability, the reason is, like, to end the call on this is an ability to connect and build relationships, but how important providing value regardless of looking for a return. I want to kind of end it with that. How important it is to provide value to people's lives, not asking for a return. Not worrying about if I'm ever going to get a return. So
I think a great point to finish off on, and this is really important for everyone to get if you don't get it already. The first person that really got this through my head was Gary Vee through Crush It, and that was one of the also key insights that we had in our business, and that's why we've created so much content at first without expecting anything in return. But to get to that point is so many businesses focus on ROI. What's the return on investment you're going to get from making these videos? I'll tell you honestly, if you're engaging in social media, if you're looking for ROI, you're in the wrong space. Bluntly, and this is true, you should not be here if you're looking for ROI. The only way you will get return on your investment is if you stop looking for it and look for ways to really, how can I add value to this space? How can I make this videos or this YouTube community or this blogging or this thing called the internet a better place? And how can I make other people's lives better? And once you start engaging in that kind of way to business, to kind of delivering content, that's when you get the most massive returns possible. Because there's probably now not a single day where we don't get a comment where like, thank you so much. And people thank us all the time of the content that we produce and we put out. And that's the reason we get so much in return, because when you give unconditionally to people, as human, right away, we're like, what can I do to give back? And same thing like with, to add on Karik's last message, like with promoting your content and connecting with other YouTubers, trying to give unconditionally, even say if you're selling a product or leveraging a product, giving it unconditionally, saying, here, take it. I'm just giving it to you because I think it will be useful to you. No need to like do a review or do anything. And it's okay even if I lose my product, it's cool. And it has to be genuine. If that's genuine, you will get massive returns back. And sometimes like you will not always win. You will lose, but it's all right because you're still going with that intention. And there's no, I guess, scientific thing for this. All I can say from our own experience, it works. So that's kind of, I guess, to leave you off with, the really way I think of, even a lot of us want to make money. But right now, I never focus on, okay, how do I make more money? Even the word money, I don't even look at it like money. The word money in my head is value. The more value you can deliver, I can deliver to the world, the more money I can make. But it's not even my focus. Because my focus at the end of the day is, I know if I deliver value to people, and I'd be helpful, and that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna is somehow in some way or another I will get value or money, whatever, back. But that's not my focus. So really seeing currency as value, like money as more of just transfer of value, because that's all it really is.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll. I mean, that's I loved having you on today. I could have you on. I mean, the amount of knowledge that I'd love for you to throw on our people is endless. There's so many things we've talked about in conversations. You're an amazing person, and I appreciate you taking the time today. Like I said, we could go on and on and on, and I hope everybody truly enjoyed Alex being on here today. If you could show some love in the chat for a second, still about 40 of you on today. Listening and everything. But I appreciate it so much, man. And I know you're moving to London. I was just there, so definitely going to have to come back and visit you there. But I appreciate everything you've done for me. I appreciate you being a mentor and a friend to me, because honestly, when I've had some tough times, when I've had a conversation with you, because of how simple and thoughtful you are, and when you take away all the fluff and all the BS, and you just think about what do you really want, what's going to make you happy, and how do you deliver that, value, it's got me clear, and so I appreciate that, and everybody here appreciates it. Some good comments there coming through. So guys, if you love this and you love this call, please share it on Facebook or Twitter. Help spread the word. We'd love for you guys to do that. We'd hope you'll show up on future calls. We do this typically once a week, every week, on Tuesdays or Thursdays, and you need to get on the email list so that you can be notified right before we go live on these calls, because I know a lot of you sometimes would miss the calls entirely if we didn't send you that little reminder. So we won't spam you or anything like that. We respect your inbox. And so just sign up. You can either do it above or below. Let me give you the link real quick. Almost done here on expertinterrogations.com. And essentially, you guys can just go on there. The email sign-up's there. All that good stuff. There's a lot of old calls. There's about 25 calls thus far. We haven't skipped a beat since February. So you can check out some of the other calls that we've had. Very valuable. There's a timestamp below every call where you can go right to the questions that were answered and right to that in the call. You got audio downloads. So rock and roll. And again, next week we'll have UJ on. For the 5-minute journal. We'll figure out a way to give a few of those away, and it'll be a great call. So, Alex, rock and roll,
Take
buddy.
care. Later, man. Thank you. Thank you all. See you.